Hello everyone. In frequency domain analysis, in previous video class, we covered polar plot, we covered stability of system, means stability of closed loop system according to the polar plot. Already we have seen one numerical for stability of closed loop system according to polar plot with the help of gain margin and phase margin. So in this video class, we are going to cover Nyquist stability criteria. Very important topic. With the help of Nyquist stability criteria, we can determine the stability of a closed loop system. You can say Nyquist stability criteria is a semi-graphical method that determines the stability of a closed loop system by investigating the properties of the frequency domain plot. The Nyquist plot of the open loop transfer function g of s h of s. So we can say Nyquist plot of open loop transfer function is a plot of gj omega in the polar coordinates of imaginary of gj omega versus real of gj omega as omega varies from 0 to infinity. You can say it is a semi-graphical method. With the help of Nyquist stability criteria, we can determine the stability of the closed loop system according to plot of open loop transfer function. Second point, the Nyquist plot. The Nyquist plot of gj omega. Gj omega means transfer function or open loop transfer function in frequency domain. So Nyquist plot of gj omega is a plot of gj omega in the polar coordinates of imaginary of gj omega versus real term of gj omega as omega is varied from 0 to infinity or omega varies from 0 to infinity. There is some more points for the Nyquist stability criteria. It also provides the information, or you can say same information, on the absolute stability of a control system as we have according to RH criteria. Or you can say like RH criteria, Nyquist criteria also gives information about absolute stability. In addition to absolute system stability, Nyquist criteria gives information for the relative stability of a system. It also indicates the degree of instability of an unstable system. It also gives indication on how the system stability may be improved if needed. Third point is that Nyquist plot of open loop transfer function is very easy to obtain with the help of computer using software MATLAB. That's why for the stability of closed loop system, we use Nyquist stability criteria. So before going for Nyquist stability criteria, we have to know principle of argument, because it is based upon the principle of argument. So first we will discuss what is the principle of argument. So to understand the principle of argument, first we have to know some terms like single valued function, analytic function, singularity, mapping contours in S-plane. After that, we can easily understand the principle of argument. So first we will discuss some basic concepts, or you can say some basic terms used for the interpretation of Nyquist plot for the stability. So first term is a single valued function. Single valued function. So what is single valued function? We can easily understand with the help of example. Suppose we have f of s equal to under root s, and suppose s is 25, means f of s has two values, first plus 5, second minus 5. So you can say such a function is not a single valued function. If we consider f of s equal to s, suppose s is 25, so we can say f of s equal to s is a single valued function. It is a single valued function. So what do you mean by single valued function? A function is called single valued function if it has only one value for each separate value of s. A function is called single valued function if it has only one value for each separate value of s. Now let us see second term, analytic function. Analytic function. So to understand analytic function, we can consider one example. Suppose f of s is 2 upon s into s plus 3. So we can say function is analytic at all points in S-plane. We can say function is analytic at all points in S plane except the points s equal to 0 and s equal to -3, because at s equal to 0 the value of function is infinity, and at s equal to -3 the value of the function is also infinity. So we can say function is analytic at all points in S plane except the points s equal to 0 and s equal to -3. So we can say a mathematical function is called analytic at a point in S plane if its value and its derivative exist. If at a point in S plane the value of function or its derivative is infinite, the function is said to be non-analytic at that point. Such a point is called singularity of the function. Or we can say a point where the function is not analytic is called singularity function. So we can define analytic function, we can define singularity function. So with the help of example, we can say s equal to 0 and s equal to -3 are the poles of f of s. So in general we can say poles of a function are its singular points or singularities. Now let us consider third point, mapping contours in the S plane. Let us consider third term, you can say mapping contours in the S plane. In the S plane. So here a contour map is a contour in which one plane mapped or translated into another plane by a relation f of s. To understand mapping contours in S plane, let us consider one example. Suppose we have a point S naught. Suppose value 3 plus j4 on the S plane. On the S plane. And suppose function is f of s equal to s square plus 2. So let us put s equal to s not equal to 3 plus j4 into the function f of s equal to s square plus 2. So we have f of s naught, or you can say f of 3 plus j4, because we considered s naught equal to 3 plus j4. So with the help of f of s equal to s square plus 2, we can calculate the value of f of 3 plus j4. So we have 3 plus j4 to the power 2 plus 2. If we will simplify, we have -5 plus j24. We have minus 5 plus j24. Now let us define S naught plane. Real axis, horizontal will define real axis sigma, vertical will define j omega axis or imaginary axis. So S naught means 3 plus j4. So this point will define value of S naught, or you can say 3 plus j4. This is my S plane, or you can say S naught plane. Now define f of S plane. In f of S plane, horizontal axis will define real of f of S, and vertical will define imaginary term of f of S. We have f of S naught minus 5 plus j24. So this point will define f of S naught. So we can map 3 plus j4 or S naught into minus 5 plus j24 or into f of S naught through the function s square plus 2. So we can say 3 plus j4 or S naught maps into minus 5 plus j24 or f S naught through the function s square plus 2. This process is called mapping. This is S plane, this is f of S plane. Now let us see next term, closed contour. Closed contour. So closed contour means closed contour in a complex plane is a continuous curve beginning and ending at the same point. Horizontal will define real axis, real value, vertical will define imaginary term. So contour in a complex plane is a continuous curve beginning and ending at the same point. Like this, we can assume the closed path, this will define a closed path or contour, or you can say closed contour. We can travel in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. So a clockwise traverse around a contour is defined as the positive direction, and an anti-clockwise traverse around a contour is defined as the negative direction. So let us try to understand enclosed and encircled point. So already I told you a clockwise traverse around a contour is defined as the positive direction. So we have contour like so here we have clockwise direction. Suppose we have contour C. So here we will consider positive direction. Positive direction. An anti-clockwise traverse around a contour is defined as the negative direction. Suppose we have contour C like this. So here we have anti-clockwise direction or anti-clockwise traverse around a contour. So it will define a negative direction. It will define a negative direction. This is clockwise and this is anti-clockwise or counter-clockwise. Now let us try to understand enclosed and encircled point. A point or region is said to be enclosed by a closed path if the point or region lies to the right of the path when the path is traversed in the prescribed clockwise direction. So if we are moving in clockwise direction, we can say right part means part inside the closed path or path inside the contour C. So if we have any point A inside the closed contour, so here we can say point A is enclosed by the path C. If we consider point B outside the contour C, so in this case we can say point B is not enclosed by the contour C or point B is not enclosed by the path C, because region outside the contour C or region outside the path C will not define right portion of the path when the path is traversed in the prescribed clockwise direction. Now if we consider point A in a second contour, suppose C1, this is diagram A, suppose diagram A and this is diagram B. In diagram B, suppose we have point A inside the contour C1. So in this case, point A is not enclosed by the path C1 because according to definition, a point or region is said to be enclosed by the closed path if the point or region lies to the right of the path when the path is traversed in the prescribed anti-clockwise direction. Here we are moving in anti-clockwise direction. So we can say right of the path means outside the path, outside the contour C1. So here we can say A is not enclosed by the path C1. But if we consider point B, suppose here, in this case we can say point B is enclosed by the path C1 because point B is lying in the region outside C1, and you can say outside part will define region lies to the right of the path when the path is traversed in the prescribed anti-clockwise direction. So here A is enclosed point in diagram A. A is enclosed point. B is not an enclosed point, but here B is enclosed point. But A is not an enclosed point. Similarly, what do you mean by encircled? A point is said to be encircled by a closed path if it lies inside that closed path. Inside that closed path, suppose we have a closed path C like this. Horizontal will define real axis, vertical will define imaginary axis. Suppose we have a point A inside closed path C or inside the contour C. So according to definition, we can say point is said to be encircled by a closed path if it lies inside that closed path. So A is encircled by a closed path in clockwise direction. If we consider a point B, we can say B is not encircled by a closed path because it will not lie inside the closed path C. If we consider a second contour, suppose this is my diagram A. If we consider a second contour, suppose C1, and suppose we are moving in anti-clockwise direction. Horizontal will define real axis, vertical will define imaginary axis. Suppose we have a point A and point B. So in this case, we can say point A is encircled by the closed path C1 in anti-clockwise direction since it is inside the closed path. But point B is not encircled by the closed path C1 because it is outside the path. Thank you.